Phillips says that mass migration is not good for the women, and mass migration security of the women are being affected, and a lot of cases women's insecurity in Europe and developed countries. And I think mass migration must be stopped absolutely. Is that statement true or wrong? I will analyze. First of all, I will tell you what is the mass migration. Mass migration means human beings who are being migrated from one country to the other country, especially the mass migration actually going on from from high concentration to low concentration, where population is more and where the population is less, and where the money is less and the money is more. Mean that people are moving from the developing countries to the developed countries. Either they are going by visas or either they are going by illegal way. I think mass migration must be defined perfectly, because if we will not define, the cases in the Europe, UK and developed countries are coming, the people are misguided, and social media technically playing very some fake role, fake news role as well. Of course, social media role positive, 90% positive, but 10% some negative news escalating some people to do some protest, and they are harming some individuals in the United Kingdom and European countries. Therefore, elaboration of such statements must be clear, that what is the meaning of the mass migration. Mass migration means if doctors are coming from the one country to other country to serve the nation, that is also the mass migration. If any engineer is coming to construct the building due to the housing crisis, if you see the Europe and almost all developed countries, number one issue currently which I found as an immigration analyst, that is housing crisis. Australia capped the students, Canada capped the students, UK capped the spouses of the students, and now the Canadians are decreasing the skilled worker visa as well. The European countries are deporting a lot of illegals, and they are telling we have no houses. So housing crisis is the number one, and economic crisis number one of the developed countries also. Earlier developing countries were having these problems. So if you are talking about construction engineers, civil engineers, laborers, currently Australia need 50,000 laborers. One construction company of Australia told that you are going to give us contract, we are not going to make the houses until you will not give us 50,000 laborers from Asians. So it means that laborers are required in that country. Similarly, European countries, if you see in Portugal, Sweden, Switzerland, Norway, Denmark, a lot of people, a lot of migrants who came here to the Europe, and they got resident card and they got Schengen state visa, and but they are some got the Schengen passport, and they are working very successfully, and they are very good. They are no criminal. It never mean if 5%, 10%, 1%, 2% people from any country became criminal. It never mean all country is criminal and all migrants are criminal, and all migrants are harmful for the women. This is the mass migration. So mass migration, if you will say women are insecure due to the mass migration, I think this could be a ridiculous sentence, because mass migration, you have to see how much percentage mass migration is good for the country and how much percentage mass migration is bad for country, and then you have to work out on that mass of migration which percentage is bad for the country, and you have to control. If you will talk Donald Trump, absolutely undocumented, illegals, legals, migrants not allowed, this is the good sentence. If anybody will come to our country by illegal way, anybody will come to country without visa, anybody will not follow rules and regulations, anybody will submit the fake documents, anybody will speak the lie, anybody will use will do corruption, anybody will do any criminal case, there is no space in our country. But saying this Muslims, there is no space of the Muslims in our country, there is no space of mass migration. Mass migration will not occur, the tourists will not occur. I think this is some sensible persons of the country might need to counsel the very famous politicians, analysts, anchors, because reason is that because when you will give the wrong message to the community, because community listen those people, when community will listen those people, definitely they use their all opinion predictions by using social media. Therefore it must be clear that tourists who are coming to the countries, due to which countries are surviving, all Europe including developed countries, because three nations are rich in the sense of economic, if you say, but still they are not rich. New Zealand is also suffering. I say one is a developed country and one is a European countries, and then New Zealand, Canada, Australia, USA, UK. You can say these are little developed than earlier. Even economic crises are going on. As I told you, New Zealand is also suffering these days. Tourist industry made these countries rich. I am talking to you. The tourist countries, if you're talking about the mass migration, the tourism, that is also a migration, a type of temporary migration. If you're thinking that tourists will not occur, will not come to the countries will become poor, and developed countries become developing countries, and that will also, world will suffer, because when developing countries are in any danger like earthquake or flooding or some any disease, these are the developed countries sorry, these are the developed countries who give benefit to the developing countries, and they give funds to the poor people. And if the developed countries become poor, so definitely there will be no any hope for all the world. Therefore, if you are talking about that mass migration, this multiculturalism, this multi-diverse diversity, having different ideas. For example, the doctors coming from three different nations have different ideas, and they are able to treat the patient by amicable way. Similarly, software engineers, social media specialists, the Amazon workers, the multinational companies, online workers, freelancers, they are working almost from all countries. They are very useful, and they are migrating from the one countries to other countries. I think mass migration is not much bad as it was being discussed in the media. Technically, mass part of mass migration is bad, and that part is 20%. And why this mass migration overall world become very worst these days? Because the governments, immigration systems of the governments are not able to proper handle mass migration. They are not able to handle properly the mass migration negativities. Positivities are good, the negativities they are not able to handle. For example, when I was assessing the immigration system of the different countries, they were allowing illegal way to illegals to come. How they are allowing illegals to come, how they are making such laws, why illegals are starting journey from the home, when he will have in the mind this country will give me visa, will give me residence, will give me job, will give me resident card, will give me passport. When he is in his home country, he is giving money to agents. Who developed this concept in the mind this country will give? Why that country is not changing the law for illegals? Why this man is not thinking before departure that I can go to this country by visa, by legal visa only, because when I will enter illegal, they will not give me any type of compensation. These compensation in the laws definitely motivating individual. Then who is responsible? This is the main thing. Second one is that the mass migration, highly skilled professionals are moving from the one countries to other countries. All departments of Canada, Australia, UK, Europe are admitting officially, these companies, top companies, are that these are the overseas workers who made our country rich. Thank you.